Hello, I'm Mike Cisco with the IT Manager Institute, and welcome to another program of the Practical IT Manager Training Series. This class is about a simple client survey provides real insight into IT support. A simple client survey can tell you a whole lot. It can tell you a great deal about what you need to know about your IT support organization. Here's a question for you. Do you know how your clients feel about IT support? Well, if you don't, if the answer is no, you're not doing a very good job. You need to know this. To be a successful IT organization, you have to know how you're doing and what your clients think about what you're doing. Who are your IT clients? Well, they're senior managers, they're department managers, and the users that work for them. They're outside companies, maybe if you're a software company and you have outside companies that you're supporting. 95% of IT organizations don't have this, so we'll focus on the first two groups. They're also your partners and they're your colleagues, so treat them like partners and colleagues. Calling them client can be kind of an iffy word at times, but I'll use the word IT clients throughout this program. Something to realize is that your client is always right. Now, I've written about this concept in publications like Tech Republic, and I've stated your client is always right. And I've had some people make comments about, are you crazy? Our client can't even tie their shoes. They don't know anything about technology. How can the client be right? Well, I'm going to show you here in just a second. The client's perception is reality, and you need to remember this. It may not be accurate, but it is their reality. Let me explain a situation. When I joined my last company, I had 3 managers in the corporate organization tell me, you need to fire Meg. Meg was an IT employee. Now, what they thought was that Meg was lazy and she wasn't doing a very good job. Well, there's 2 possible issues when you hear this. When I hear it the first time, I mark it down. When I hear it a second time, it's a little bit in bolder print. And when I hear it a third time, it's a trend. So I've got one of 2 possible issues. I either have an employee problem, Meg truly is an employee problem, or I have a client perception issue. Meg's not an employee problem, but I have a perception issue from the client. Well, the real problem turned out to be this. We did not have enough resources to meet the IT support demand. What I needed to do is I needed to throw Meg a life preserver as opposed to firing her. Meg was not the issue. When I solved the lack of resource issue, guess what happened? The Meg issue went totally away. In fact, I even got compliments about what a great attitude Meg has. Well, the reality was Meg always had a great attitude. She just couldn't do enough work to take care of all the demand for support that she had. She was trying to do what it would take 3, maybe 4 people to do. So when I solved that lack of resource issue, the Meg issue went totally away. There were 2 realities in this story though. One, the client was not being supported, so their pain and their concern was real. They weren't being supported. But Meg was not the issue. So the point is, the client perception was wrong. They had a real issue, they weren't getting supported, but their solution to the problem was completely wrong. It wasn't a Meg issue. It's important that we monitor and understand client perception of IT support, because you can have these kinds of things taking place and you might not even be aware of it. Their reality is our reality, so remember that. So what do we need to know about IT support? Well, there are 5 key areas I think that you need to know. 1 is IT responsive. 2 is IT effective in getting the job done of supporting the client. 3 is IT focused on the business needs and issues of the client. 4 is IT staff conducting themselves properly. Are they professional? Do they follow up? And those kinds of things. And 5, what are areas that the client can suggest that we need to improve in IT support to support their business better? And when you put all those things together, you can get an overall satisfaction evaluation. So I think there are 5 key areas you need to look at in arriving at an overall satisfaction evaluation. Here's a look at my IT support survey form. It's very simple. It's one page. It's very effective. It tells you a lot, and I've used it for many years. Plus, there are 5 simple questions on this form that tells you what you need to know about IT support. Is IT responsive? Are you effective? Are you focused on the client's needs and issues? What's the IT employee conduct? And are there improvement recommendations that the client can make? But first, before we go into this, we're going to talk about each of these in more detail. But first, there's a few comments I want to make about conducting an IT support survey. Comment number 1, do not, let me repeat this, do not send out a survey. You're not going to be very effective if you just email a survey or send it out by paper. You're not going to achieve much results out of doing that. So do not send out a survey. There are 2 reasons. You're going to only get a few responses. Not everybody's going to respond to you. And then the second thing is you're not going to learn very much. And the whole purpose of doing a survey is to get responses and to learn about what's going on in IT support. Instead, go interview your client. Have a short conversation with your client. Put the bleeping email and texting down and go talk to your client. You do not want to do this mechanically or through systems. You want to have a conversation with your client. Go have a meeting, a phone call, or maybe it's a video call if they're in a different city or maybe even a different country. It only takes 15 minutes with each client, if that much. Client meetings build relationships and you learn a whole lot more. Very, very important. All right, here's an alert. What happens when you send out surveys? I don't know if you're aware of this, but here's what actually happens. A very few will respond to your survey, and they're going to answer quickly. So if you ask a question, is IT focused on your needs and issues, they're either going to answer yes or no. And if they answer no, you're not going to learn a whole lot unless they fill in the details. Well, if they're filling out a survey, they're not going to add details to that, or at least 90% will not. So you won't get very much information. And the whole purpose of a survey is to get that information, because you need the information to be able to improve your situation. Interviewing allows you to learn much more. When you get an answer that says no, or somebody's not happy with a certain situation, you can ask them, well, can you help me understand why you're not feeling good about this situation, about focus, about responsiveness or effectiveness, and so on. And another question you can ask them is, well, can you give me an example to help me clarify or understand why you're not happy with our focus? All right, it helps you clarify why they are unhappy. Very, very important for you to be able to do this, because that's going to give you more information, and more information gives you things that you can work with to go deal with issues. All right, who do you interview? Well, you interview senior managers, you interview department managers, and you interview external clients if you have any. Now again, like I said, most organizations do not have external clients. You would have this if you're a software development company and you have companies that are licensing that software, so you might be supporting them. But most of us don't have that, so again, we'll focus on the first 2 groups. With department managers, you may want to include a few of their key people, because they have some key people that do an awful lot of work with the IT organization. So that could be very helpful in your survey. Comment number 2, make it easy for your clients to do the survey. When you do the interview, you fill in the survey answers. Don't require them to do this. What you want to do is you want to interview them, listen to their responses and so forth, and you fill in the survey responses. Remember, it's an interview, so you can take them to coffee, you can have a phone call, you can take them to lunch, or you can go visit them in their office. But you want to do it in either a remote setting or in their office. Comment number 3, you want to do annual surveys. And I would recommend that you use the same questions, and then you can monitor trends year over year. If IT is improving, you should see it in the survey results. They'll show that improvement. Here's an example. Here's a IT support survey trends graph. So we've got the ratings on the left, 1 through 5, and then we've got columns for each year. The first year we do it, then at the end of year 1, year 2, year 3. All right, so we have a color code. So we've got 3 up here: focus, responsiveness, and overall. So as we do these surveys every year, we start seeing the trends. So we're seeing responsiveness gradually improve. It was pretty low, but it's improved from a 1 to a 2. We see focus as doing pretty good, and it's continuing to improve as well. And then the overall, which is an average of all of those ratings, is improving as well. All right, so you'll see that in these survey trends if you're actually improving and you're using the same questions year over year. Comment number 4, don't forget to follow up. It's very important to report back after completing a survey. The clients may not tell you this directly, but they're interested in what your survey results were if they filled out or completed a survey with you. The client needs to know 2 things. They want to know what your survey findings were, and they want to know what your IT plan is to address those findings, especially if there is some improvement needed in what you discovered in your survey. It's a great opportunity to show IT is always focused on improving the support business. It shows that you're business minded and not managing the technology. It's a strong message to give them survey results, to share the action plan that you're going to take to address some of those issues, and later on you show the action plan results. So you show cause and effect of understanding something, identifying what you're going to do to address those issues, and the results that you get from making those things happen. Very strong. It shows IT is proactive and results oriented. This is powerful stuff. This shows that you're business minded and not just managing technology. Let's take a closer look at the survey that I use. Here's a copy of the form. It's very, very simple. As you can see, it's 1 page, and there are 5 questions on this form. There's a question about IT responsiveness, IT effectiveness, IT focus, IT staff conduct, recommendations, and then when you average all those, you can get an overall satisfaction of the client. You can download this survey at mde.net/survey.doc, and I encourage you to download it. You can use it as is, or you can modify it to serve your specific needs. All right, let's take a look at each one of these questions. There's a question about IT responsiveness. Well, the things you might want to know is, does IT get to your issue quickly when you have a problem or you have a need? And does IT resolve those issues quickly? And do you have any other comments about IT responsiveness? Second question is about IT effectiveness. Does IT fix your problem the first time, or do they have to come back and fix something because they didn't do a thorough job the first time? And is IT prepared and knowledgeable about the issues that they're dealing with? And what's your experience with system upgrades? Is IT effective in completing system upgrades, or do you have problems with those upgrades? And do you have other comments about IT effectiveness? Number 3, IT focus. Is IT focused on your group's needs and issues? Is IT helping you achieve your objectives? And do you have other comments about IT's focus? Number 4, IT staff conduct. Is the IT staff professional, and do they conduct themselves properly? Is the IT staff courteous? Is the IT staff knowledgeable about what they're doing? Does the IT staff follow up well? This is very important, because if our IT staff is not following up on their commitments and what they tell a client, we're losing credibility. So very important to understand this particular piece. And do you have other comments about IT staff conduct? And number 5 is not necessarily a question as much as it is we're asking for input. What are the IT improvement recommendations you would suggest for our IT support organization? How can IT improve support of your business? And do you have other recommendations about how we can improve our relationship and what we're doing to support your business? And do you have other feedback about the IT support organization? You can average your findings to get an overall satisfaction of where the client sits in relation to IT support and what their perspective is of IT support. Remember, there are two reasons to conduct an IT support survey. One, to understand the client perspectives, very important to do that, and two, to improve IT support. You might consider surveying IT employees as well. One of the things that you'll discover is whether or not we think that we're doing as good of a job as the client thinks that we're doing. It may be that we think we're doing a very good job in supporting the client, and the client may not think that at all. So we may be totally out of sync in terms of where we think we are versus where they think we are. It's important, if that were to be the case, for you to know that. It makes great coaching material to be able to share, here's what the client thinks, here's what we think, all right, and show the differences if there are any. All right, let's summarize. This is a pretty short training session, but it doesn't have to be complex and doesn't have to be long to be able to be effective in this area. So let's summarize. You want to conduct an annual IT support survey. Make them personal interviews. Keep it simple for your client. Tally the results and follow up. Give your client the findings and give them the plan of what you're going to do to address those issues. And show action taken and results later on. That's very powerful. And then track the trends over time. Again, I recommend you use the same questions every year, or at least most of the same questions every year, so that you can track the trends over time. All right, download the sample IT support survey at mde.net/survey.doc. You'll get that. You can use it as is, or you can modify it any way that you want, or you can even create your own from scratch if you will. The thing that I would emphasize is resist your temptation to list 20 questions. Keep it simple, keep it short, and also make it simple for the user. So when you go and do the interviews, you need to fill out the form as opposed to asking the client to do that. It makes it much easier for them, and you're going to get a whole lot more information as a result. Here's something that you ought to take a look at. If you're interested in new training every month, plus access to my entire IT Manager Resources Library, which is very significant, become a gold member. I probably have the most IT Manager development resources in the world. I'm not trying to brag, I'm just trying to state a fact. I have tremendous amount of resources in my IT Manager Resources Library. You get access to all of that plus new training every month when you become a gold member. It's the very best value that we offer in our company, and to take a look at that, go to itmanagerstore.com/member. Thank you, and I wish you the best of success. I hope that the material that we've just covered will be helpful to you, and that it'll help you be more effective in conducting IT support surveys. Download the survey sample at mde.net/survey.doc. All right, if you're looking for more practical IT Manager resources, take a look at my website, itmanagerinstitute.com, for books, tools and templates, training, consulting, coaching, and especially the membership. I really encourage you to take a look at our Gold Member Program because there's a lot of resources in there that can help you achieve more success. Thanks again. I hope the material was helpful, and I wish you the very best of success.